I used Windows for years, since I was a kid. Latest, a laptop from Dell, the Inspiron 15, the whole PC experience. Like a lot of people, I always wonder, is Mac actually worth it or is it just hype? 4 years ago I switched to Mac, M1 MacBook Air 8GB of RAM, and honestly it changed how I work. Today I'm breaking down why I made the switch, what I actually love about Mac, what I hate about it, and most importantly, whether it was worth the price difference. Because let's be real, that's the biggest question. This isn't just a fanboy take, although I'm a little bit. I'm not here to convince you Mac is better, I'm just sharing my experience and why it worked for me. Let's get into it. So, context. I came from different PCs and standard Windows laptop, and for basic stuff it was fine, but I was watching content creators, designers, people doing creative work, and they were all using Macs. I couldn't afford one, and honestly I didn't need one for what I was doing at the time, but there was always a curiosity, what's the difference? Why do all these people choose Mac? Then the first quarantine hit, and I made a decision. I wanted to get serious about content creation, learn videography, design, actually build something. And that's when I started researching whether I should finally make the switch. So why did I choose Mac? Let me break down the actual reasons. First, the software is just easier to navigate, it's simple, it's clean, it's aesthetic. Windows always felt like a maze to me. Settings hidden in 5 different places, random notifications popping up, constant updates interrupting my work. With Mac, you know what you have and where it is. Everything feels intentional. I'm not spending time fighting the operating system, I'm just working. Windows comes with so much unnecessary stuff, pre-installed software you don't need, constant security warnings, the whole antivirus situation. With Mac, none of that. It's clean out of the box. For the work I do, design, video editing, content creation, a lot of apps just run better on Mac. When I tried Premiere Pro and Photoshop on my Dell, the lag was unbelievable, like unusable for any serious work. And I know, of course, huge role play the specs of a Windows laptop or PC. On Mac, even with heavy footage in DaVinci Resolve, things run smoothly. The M1 chip handles everything I throw at it without breaking a sweat. And this is huge, the ecosystem. I have an iPhone and the integration is seamless. AirDrop, handoff, universal clipboard. I can start something on my phone and finish it on my Mac. Copy something on one device, paste it on another. Build quality, this thing is solid. 4 years in, still feels premium. The trackpad is still one of the best I've ever used. The keyboard is good, battery life on the M1 was good at the beginning. Now after 4 years I can work 2 to 3 hours without charging, doing editing and designing work. And longevity, this M1 Air from 2020 still handles everything I need in 2025. The chip was ahead of its time and it's aging incredibly well. Alright, now let's talk about what I don't like, because Mac isn't perfect and I'm not going to pretend it is. The biggest issue, price. And I'm not just talking about the upfront cost, I'm talking about living in Europe where we pay significantly more than Americans. The same MacBook that costs $999 in the US, we are paying way more after taxes and regional pricing. It's not fair, but it's reality. Mac is expensive everywhere, but especially outside the US. Repairability is terrible. If something breaks on this Mac, I basically need a new one. Everything is soldered, nothing is upgradable. I can add more RAM later, I can swap the SSD, what you buy is what you are stuck with. So you better make the right choice up front because there's no fixing mistakes later. Gaming on Mac is not great, but honestly I'm not a gamer so this doesn't affect me. But if you are into gaming, Mac is not the move. Windows PCs is way better for that. Let me show you why Mac specifically works for what I do. UI UX design and content creation. Figma runs perfectly. Multiple files open, complex designs, no lag. The M1 handles it easily. DaVinci Resolve, no problem. Editing 4K footage, color grading, audio mixing, all in one app. Even with 8GB of RAM, it just works, except with heavy footage and after color grading you have to switch the playback quality to review it smoothly. Lightroom Classic, Photoshop, all my creative apps, they run smoothly, and the display quality matters for color accurate work. The MacBook Air screen is excellent for editing photos and videos. So for my specific needs, creative work, content creation, design, Mac just makes sense. Everything I need runs better here than it did on Windows. Will I ever go back to Windows? Honestly, I'm open to it. If I had a really well-spec'd PC or laptop, good processor, plenty of RAM, quality build, I'd try it. Windows has gotten better over the years and there are more things you can do on Windows than you can do on Mac. But right now for my workflow, for what I'm doing, Mac works, and until that changes, I don't have a reason to switch back. Let's address the elephant in the room. Is Mac worth the price premium over the Windows? For me, yes, but let me explain why. The M1 chip is incredible, it's efficient, powerful, and it doesn't need constant upgrades. I bought the base model M1 Air for 4 years ago, and it's still handling everything I throw at it in 2025. The build quality means this laptop still feels premium. The ecosystem integration saves me time every single day. The software experience is cleaner and less frustrating. Could I have done the same work on a cheaper Windows laptop? Maybe. But would I have been fighting the system as much? Probably. Would the laptop still feel this good after 4 years? Doubt it. The price sucks, especially in Europe, but the value over time, it's been worth it for me. So, who should buy a Mac? There's my take. If you are doing creative work, video editing, photo editing, design, and you can afford it, Mac makes sense. The apps run better, the integration is seamless, the hardware lasts. If you value simplicity and don't want to deal with the Windows experience update and various bloatware, Mac is worth considering. If you are already in the Apple ecosystem with an iPhone, the integration alone might be worth it. But if you are on a tight budget, Windows has great options that are way cheaper. If you game, Windows is better. If you need specific Windows-only software, obviously stick with Windows. I don't think anyone should buy Mac, it's about your preferences and what you need. Do your research for your specific use case, check what software you need, consider your budget, then make your decision. So what's next for me? Do I regret anything about this purchase? Zero regrets. This M1 Air was exactly what I needed when I started getting serious about content creation. It was the right price at the right time and it served me incredibly well. Eventually I want to upgrade to a MacBook Pro. More power, better screen, more ports, but that's when I can afford it and when it makes sense for where I'm at. I bought the M1 Air because it was the first generation of Apple Silicon and I didn't want to spend more on an unproven chip. Smart move because the M1 turned out to be incredible, but I was cautious with the investment. So that's why I choose Mac over Windows. 4 years later, I still think it was the right call for me. It's not perfect, it's expensive, especially in Europe, and reliability sucks. But the software experience, the performance, the ecosystem, the build quality, it all adds up. If you are considering making the switch, think about what you actually need. Don't buy Mac just because creators use it. Buy it if it solves problems you actually have. That's my honest take on Mac versus Windows. If you want more tech content like this, subscribe and let me know in the comments, are you team Mac or team Windows? I'm curious. See you in the next one.